What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Side Hustle Experiment podcast. We got an awesome solo episode planned for you today. We talk about Amazon fees, Instagram, tiered pricing, and Drew just dropped a ton of money on a mentorship. So we're going to be going over all those details. Let's just get into it.
Yeah, what's up? What's up, dude?
What's going on?
Yeah, I dropped 20K on the thing. I guess it's not mentorship, really. It's like a mastermind.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the most money I've ever probably spent at one time. I was thinking about it like when I spent it, and I'd held off for so long.
I knew you were going to do it. After we talked last week, I'm like, he's definitely doing this.
Yeah, and it was worth it. I mean, also it's like $1,600 and some dollars a month, but it's like, in my opinion, it's the best thing like on the market for stuff. And I don't really want to talk about exactly what it is. Maybe I'll talk about it in the future. Whenever they come out with an affiliate thing, I will. But
yeah, that'd be affiliate.
But I think, I mean, from what I've seen so far, it's good. But I mean, it's a lesson. Like I invested 20K into something, which, you know, that should probably give people some ideas. Like, don't be afraid to do that kind of stuff. It's the only way you're going to grow.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if you think 20K is a lot, you should definitely get into arbitrage tactics for $15 a month.
That's a good point.
Sure. There'll be a link down below. But so walk people through, how do you think about that? So like 20K is a crazy amount of money. I think you told me it's all up front. So are you paying $1,600 a month?
No, I paid all up front.
Okay. You're paid all up front. So like how does someone like wrap their brain around that? That's like someone's salary, basically.
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, I guess the main thing, like I was between a few different things. Like I have a lot of money that I'm just sitting on from like, cause I'm not buying inventory. I'm not doing anything. So I'm like, I need to invest it somewhere. And I'm always big, like invest in yourself, obviously. So that was the main thing is like, if I buy this thing, it's probably going to cut down how much time. It could be 4 months, 6 months, 8 months. Okay. That's probably going to save me a ton of time. And then it just makes way more sense for the time value of my money. Like just get rid of it now. And if I can make back $100,000 in the next 6 months, then it was an easy investment, you know? Sure. And it would have took me just as long to learn the skill. Like it took such a long time when this is like a fast track to get stuff done. And I mean, it's a lot. I coughed off a 10K for a program last year, which was a lot too, but yeah, like I learned so much from that. It's funny because I kind of like joined that program last year and ended up kind of quitting a little bit. I just went like a different route with stuff because it worked originally. And the guy was like, I'll give you your money back. And I'm like, dude, I'm not doing that. Like, I'll give you more like that. This was like the most valuable thing I've ever bought. So that's kind of how I looked at this. Of like, and the testimonials from people, you know, like what can go wrong? I mean, if I didn't have enough money, I don't know. That's how I look at it. It's like I had enough money to do it. And here's another way you should look at this stuff is I wouldn't spend a large percentage of your money on that type of thing. So a general rule, and this is for if you're selling the program or if you're buying the program, I wouldn't go over 10% of your money with something. Like don't be spending over 10% on education at one time because it puts you in an uncomfortable situation and it can just lead to problems. So that was another way I looked at it. Of like, this isn't going to take 10% of my net worth out from under me, which kind of gives an idea of, I guess, how much I've got. But like, then it's like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. If it would have been like 60K, 70K, then that's different. But It just wasn't that big of a number.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point too, that you say like 10%, because I think a lot of times what people don't realize, I mean, I've paid upwards of, I think like we paid someone $5,000 for both of us to do like a mentorship. And it was just kind of like, it is what it is. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I think what a lot of the times what will happen is maybe you're so desperate, like you give this person $20,000 and then you're expecting them to do all the work and like, you're not ready to do the work. And then what happens is the mentor is not bad. It's just that you're so stressed that you can't do what the mentor is saying, or you're trying to rush what the guy is trying to tell you to do. And then it doesn't work out. And then you blame them, but it's like, nah, like you just put yourself in like a real shitty spot. And like, there's nothing the guy could do with that.
Yeah. I had someone pay me a while ago. It was like, it was a crazy situation and I shouldn't have even taken this person on, but like, they were really like pushing me so hard, like, let me pay you. And I was like, dude, I mean, you're not a good fit, but like I'll take your money if you're like giving it to me. And then like 2 weeks later, I had to give a refund because they ended up like quitting or whatever. Not even, they didn't even get in the program. They were just like, I actually don't have the money. I'm like, okay, man, like now you have me, like now I have to pay fucking processing fees and like deal with this headache and feel bad about even taking it originally when like I knew from the start that it wasn't a good idea.
Yeah,
So,
when I was doing coaching, like back in the day with like someone else, we did this coaching call, or like we did like a pre-call to like kind of explain what we were offering or whatever. And I'll always remember it. This guy was just like, yeah, like I'm about like 50K in the hole, like doing this Amazon thing. Like I bought this, like I got a VA, and I just bought what the VA told me to buy. Like this guy was like all over the place. And he's like, I have one last like American Express credit card. I got like 15 grand on it. Like, do you guys think you could like get me out of this hole? And like the person who was on the call, he was like, I was like, absolutely not. Like, we're not doing this. Like, are you out of your mind? Like, there is no way in hell. I was like, you want to work with them by themselves? And like, but like, I am not doing this. One, it's not the right thing to do. Two, it's just,
it's
yeah,
impossible. You
yeah.
can't.
It's just like, and he's like, and they wanted like a guarantee that we would pull them 50K out of debt for me. And if you get yourself in that bad of a situation, and we were just like, and I was like, well, like, would you be willing to like sell off all your inventory at like a loss? And they're like, no, like, we got to wait it out. I'm just like, I can't help you then. Like if you're not going to do what we're going to say, then like, this is just a waste. Like, you might as well flush that money down the toilet because you're not going to listen.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that income thing is huge when you have that type of situation. Like I didn't know much about that until I've learned more of the marketing stuff. But that 10% thing is kind of like the standard. And then another thing is when you're doing like lower ticket stuff to get like for that to be 1%, that's even better. So like if you can do like if you keep it within these percentages, and I learned this from the guy I paid, ironically, but like if you can keep it between that, then you're doing pretty good. And I think that's why he priced it at that. Now that I'm like learning a lot of this, because he wants to work with people who have X amount of income, because they'll spend that amount of money and not feel bad. Like if this doesn't work for me, and it will, but like it will be my fault. Let's say I fail over my problems, I'm not going to be pissed because like I said, it wasn't a huge like percentage of income. It was a large amount of money, but it's not a percentage of money. So that's kind of the way I look at it. And that's how everybody should look at education. If you guys are like wanting to invest in yourself, I mean, I get it. You're on your last like dollar or whatever, and you're like, I'm going to buy this and make it work. That can work, but it just puts you in a really uncomfortable situation. So I wouldn't recommend to spend your last dollar on education or whatever.
Yeah, no, and I think that is like a really good key point too. I remember this guy Ramit Sethi. He used to run like courses, and he would sell like high end. This was like 10 years ago. He was selling like $2,000-3,000 courses. And it used to be like, listen, like if you can't buy the course if you have credit card debt, no idea how he would verify that. But like he'd always like head off with that. And he's like, if I find out you do, like I'll ban you for life. And he's like, I have so much free content. He's like, use that to make money, like pay off your debt, and then like come back. He's like, I'll be here forever. So like once you kind of get that squared away, like come back. So I think that is like kind of a nice like approach to take as well as someone who's like kind of selling something.
Yeah, 100%. And tell me a little about this Amazon stuff. Obviously, I'm out of the loop. So, what's
so Amazon, it was super interesting. Everyone was like freaking out about like the low inventory fees, and it just like I don't know, like kind of broke on Twitter. I don't really know. Arbops had a tweet about it, and someone else did, and I don't know. It was in the Amazon news section, which I will sometimes read, but not really. But basically, what they said is if you have, I'm going to read it so I don't mess it up. The low inventory fee will not apply to products you have sold less than 20 units of in the last 7 days, which is huge because everyone was saying, oh, like, how are we supposed to test by if we're going to get nailed at the end, the tail end? Like, how are we supposed to figure out how much to have and all this and all that? But this is basically saying Yeah, if you sell less than 20 items in 7 days, you won't be charged the low inventory fee. And for most arbitrage sellers, unless you're really moving volume on something, like I would think like something like in Q4 or something like that, shouldn't be an issue. If you're buying 10 of something, even if you sell that within 7 days, like you're not going to get hit with the fee, which I think is pretty cool. And it said slower selling variations aren't lumped in with the parent either. So you could definitely do test buys again. It seems I was kind of always going to do test buys anyway. I was listening to something like one of the bigger Amazon sellers. It's like, yeah, we're not going to buy 2 months just because of this fee, because like something could go wrong. Like we're still going to buy 30 days. We'll just pay more. And then like once we have like a better sense on the ASIN, yeah, then maybe we'll do like 2 months, 3 months or whatever. But like I'm not buying like 2 months right off the bat. Like I'd rather just pay higher fees than get stuck with 2 months worth of stuff if it doesn't work out. So I think there are like a couple lessons from this, in my opinion. Is like don't freak out when Amazon makes these like decisions. I feel like their track record has been all over the place lately. Um, just these kind of like rash decisions. The low placement fee being one of them, where it's like, oh, how are we going to do this? It's over. It's not fair. It's this. It's that. You just waste all this mental energy. I feel like whenever Amazon does something, it's almost best to wait like, I don't know, call it 2 to 4 weeks and like let it settle out. And I remember everyone's asking me like, oh, how are you handling the fees? How are you handling the fees? I'm just like, I was going to see how it played out. And then, sure enough, like 2 weeks later, Amazon's like, "Oh, we're not going to charge the fees until like May 15th or something." So now, like the fees didn't even apply to anything, and now they're like, "Yeah, like if you're selling less than 20 units in 7 days, it doesn't even matter."
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's good news then. That's probably helpful to the OA guys for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that is good. And then I think like I don't know if this is related at all, but I think in a way when Amazon kind of has these did this fee thing, it did like freak everyone out. And I don't know if they really felt the pressure. I doubt it. They're like so big. But I think people have other options now. I mean, Walmart being one of the bigger ones where people are like, you know what, Amazon, like that's fine. That's good. Walmart will pay us within 2 days. Like we don't have to put labels on shit. Like that's all right. Like we're gonna move our business elsewhere. Um, and I think they didn't have that in the past. They basically like, hey, like you have to sell here. These are our rules. This is how it's going to work. So I think that is could have maybe pushed that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Especially that social media backlash. Like I saw a bunch of people freaking out about that on Twitter. So I guess that probably helps. Especially if people sign petitions and stuff. You never know. Like that stuff probably happens too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this sentiment on Twitter and social media wasn't just like, oh, like we just gotta fight through this. Like it was more like, no, like let's go to Walmart, let's do Shopify, let's do this, let's do that. So I think maybe they have to monitor this stuff or like maybe take it into consideration somewhat. I mean, maybe giving them too much credit there, but I don't know. It almost seemed like a big miss for them not to kind of like pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah, 100%. What about the Instagram stuff? You were saying that?
Yeah, so I follow this person. I think it's, let me see if I find it. It's Brock 11 Johnson, and he kind of talks about like Instagram hacks and how you can increase your Instagram posts and kind of give like tips and tricks or whatever. So he did a reel last night, and I was just, it was like, oh, breaking. So supposedly Instagram is going to test like a tier system. Supposedly they're testing it. It looks like in Australia and New Zealand. It's unclear whether this is going to come to the US or like what is going to happen or when it will roll out. But it looks like there's going to be options where you'll have the normal, what you have now, $14.99. Then there'll be a $44.99. That'll be the plus plan. And there'll be a premium for $119.99. This is per month. And then the max plan, which would be $349.99 per month.
What are these?
And the differences, it seems like, in each of these plans is you would have the ability to add links to Reels, and you'd have fast track customer support. And it seems like as you go up in the tiers, you would add more links. So like maybe you get 8. I think in the top tier, you'd get like 8 links that you could add to Reels, maybe in a 30-day period, so on and so forth. And it seems like the higher plan you have, the more they might show your stuff to.
That's
So it's
huge.
basically pay to play,
Yeah,
which
and
is
it's like
super interesting.
taking over the TikTok affiliate stuff. That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, imagine if you could drive the traffic. That would help me a ton. I really hope I'll buy it. I'll buy the 300. Running that theme page. If I could put the link in my reel, that would be massive.
Yeah, so I think it's super interesting. I don't know like how many people go for this or not. I mean, it's just a crazy. I mean, we talk about it all the time. It's similar to Amazon. Like when you kind of just rely on these platforms, you're just kind of at their mercy. Um, it is interesting to me too what actually happens. I wonder if almost Instagram almost gets worse because now you're not really showing content because it's good. You're showing it because, someone's paying for you to be shown.
That's just ads.
True.
Yeah.
But it almost seems like they're going to treat this like the feed. So, like, if you pay more, like, it's weighted more, and it's really not weighted more on, like, how good the content is.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
interesting.
I think this is probably, I don't know, this is my conspiracy brain, but this is kind of what we've talked about before. Like, there's just so much content that there's got to be some kind of filter. Like, there's like too much content being put out. So, if there's like a filter to be like, okay, you have to pay this much to have your content be seen, it's probably going to reduce the amount of spam because most content is just spam. It's like just
True.
like stolen stuff or whatever. Like, it's just not valuable. So I could see this being something maybe that would kind of combat that. So that's not, to me, that's not too bad. And I think, I don't know, I guess it cuts opportunity out for people that don't have much of a following and don't have much money, but I don't know. And you said it wasn't going to come to the US right now, right?
Yeah, it's like speculative, like whether this does or doesn't. He just posted yesterday, so it should be interesting. But I'm like starting to see it pop up. I do also wonder too, like conspiracy theory wise, maybe they're like taking advantage of like TikTok ban. Like if
Yeah.
who knows what happens to that, and then it's like it is kind of crazy to think about it though. Like you'd be giving like I guess Meta. Let's just pretend there's 10 months in a year. You'd be giving them $3,500 a year, which is pretty crazy
Yeah.
for like additional reach. Probably like 4 all said and done. If you go about like the 12 months.
Yeah.
Um,
4,200. Yeah. That's, I mean, but it just depends.
but if you're a business, I feel like you'd almost have to make money. So I wonder if more people like start selling shit because it's like, well, we're gonna pay $4,000 for this. Like that $4,000 has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
But then if you're like Nestle, they're like, well, who cares? It's $4,000. Doesn't matter.
I'd pay it. Yeah, I would. If there was a way to embed links in your thing, like especially if it didn't, like right now, if you click a link on Instagram, it takes you to a new thing. So that's like waiting. That's like wait time.
True.
If you could click a link and it would bring a pop up, like buy right now, like Amazon. Yeah, Amazon's kind of set the standard.
Okay. I could see that for sure because that'd be a huge advantage. Like now, it's like super annoying. I think it'd be super stupid if you click the link and it's like, oh, you're leaving Instagram.
Yeah.
Like that's such a waste. Like that's dumb. I think. I feel like it would be really interesting to see kind of like how that would play out. I don't know if I would pay the $349. It actually really just depend on like what's going on or whatnot. But yeah, it would just be real interesting to see like if imagine if you let's just say your innovative ones get you get much higher numbers, but let's just say you got like 10,000 per reel or whatever, and then if you don't pay, like no matter how good your reel is, or you post like one that got like 1,000,000, it gets like 1,000. You'd be like,
yeah, I mean, that would be bad. But yeah, especially right now, I've reached 5 million people in the last 30 days. That's unreal to see. 5 million.
Yeah, so if they're just like, hey, you got to give us $400, or that 5 million is going to go down to like 50.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
I mean, but I would do it anyways though, because if I had a link on there, I'd be able to
true. Yeah, it'd definitely be worth testing, I guess, because then like if you could negate the cost.
yeah, you would. If you
For
just
sure.
had a simple product, if you had any kind of info product on there, if it was like a $5 thing, you get 1,000,000 views, it's going to sell 1,000 times. You're going to make like $5,000.
True.
If it's embedded in there, that's how those TikTok things work. Like there's people that get 10 million views, 5 million views, and they're making like 40K, 50K on the video.
Interesting. I wonder why they wouldn't just take like a percentage.
Probably
Isn't
because
that what TikTok is doing? They're taking a percentage, right?
yeah, affiliate commission.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it gets like a little bit. I don't know. That's a good point. You just have less to deal with when you do that. If you just give people the ability to have links, you take off. So what TikTok does, you have to put in your information for your business, for your personal, all this different stuff, and like they pay the affiliate to you. Like so, like they're a third party, so that the company pays through TikTok. So if they're just like we're just gonna let you have links, you guys can figure out the affiliate stuff on the back end. It just eliminates a huge like time suck of theirs. Even like to even deal with the affiliate payouts and stuff.
So they're almost acting like Amazon. Like they have to like sort out like what to pay you, basically.
TikTok does, yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay, that makes sense.
If they did this, they wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah. Okay, that would be super interesting. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting, and like I don't know what impact it would really have on like kind of like the Amazon space, like content creator space. Be interesting. I don't know. Like if like being like almost if you made the best content ever, there would be like a cap on it anyway. Maybe people are like, like this isn't worth it. Like I'm just gonna kind of do my own thing or go to Twitter or do something else.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's interesting. It's a good business play, I think. Well, we'll see. What else do we have to talk about today? I tried to get back on Instagram today. I put a little question and answer thing up. I don't even think anybody's replied to me, dude. I fell off.
Damn. That's what are your plans? Like, are you gonna bring that back? Or are you just gonna focus on innovative or
yeah, so I do have a plan. I have a long-term plan. It's just taking a while because I'm just trying to make this offer work. Like I'm doing the fitness thing and like I really want to make it work. And I think it will, like in the matter of time. But after I do that, then I'll probably get back on Instagram and get back on. I was even thinking about starting a YouTube channel and stuff just to kind of document what I've learned about things. Now, I've got some good, I even have like a bunch of YouTube videos planned out, but I don't know when I'm going to do it because I could do it like documenting the journey of what I'm doing. Obviously, like people love to get behind that, but also maybe I have too much pride. I don't know.
It's hard. I would say that content is hard. Like I think a lot of people like think like you just make a reel and it's super easy, but like coming up with different stuff to say every day or just like trying to spin something different or try not to copy something you've seen before and just kind of make stuff your own. Or even just like this podcast, like just coming up with stuff to talk about every time or find a guest. It just, I mean, it's definitely worth it for sure. And you know, it's good to connect with people and like meet people, but it's definitely a grind. And it's like something that's not that you have to plan it, but like it's almost easier if you just plan it and like stick to the plan, which I'm not good at. So I kind of been like super inconsistent this year on Instagram because I just kind of been making reels like something pops into my head, like I'll just do like face to camera and just put it out there. But when there are those days where I'm just like, I just don't feel like doing it or I can't come up with anything. I just like I don't want to waste like someone's attention with something shitty, you know what I mean? Just put one out there to put one out there. So I don't know. It's definitely hard, especially if you don't have like a path. Like it was easier for you when you were doing like FBA because like you're doing it every day and like today I did like a reel about like I don't know how well it'll do, but like of like a keep it chart like you should avoid. Like I just happened to come across it sourcing. I'm like, all right, let me just like make a quick like couple things about this. But like you don't always come across that. And then like kind of what you're doing, I don't even know how you would like kind of explain that in like reels.
Well, it's just to be like Hormozy style stuff. I mean, it's just like business. So that's like,
True.
like I have a plan with it. I will come back and I will like, well, as you can tell by the Telegram, right? Like I would just do shit like that. those Telegram videos like that, you see what I dropped yesterday, like a 50-page thing. It was like 20 some pages, I guess, not 50,
I
22
do.
pages.
Let's see.
Yeah, you have to see it's like how to build a theme page, like overview, and it's like 20 some pages long. But yeah, that one was great. But like, see, I can make stuff like that. Like, I can make a lead mag, or I can make a YouTube video just talking on a whiteboard, like super easy. I've just done it so many times. So that's what I would do. I wouldn't even try to make it all like jazzy and stuff. I would just be just super informative content.
Yeah,
I
damn.
think that if I was telling the guy, I was on a call yesterday, I was telling him like, man, you don't have to be like this guy that goes to Nike outlets and stuff. Like, you don't have to do that type of content. Like, you can just do hyper informative content and you get the same thing, because you're going to meet better people, because you're going to talk to people that are informed, and you're going to sell better stuff because people are going to trust you more because they know what you're talking about. You're not just giving them surface level stuff. You're going to give them really good stuff. If I had to come back to the Amazon thing, I would just like, I think I could definitely shake stuff up if I just made better content. I didn't think to do it before. I made a few Twitter videos like that did super well. But I would just do tons of breakdowns and tons of like theory of Amazon type stuff. But
That's kind of what like the video I did today was. I forgot what I was listening to. Oh, it was like kind of Hermosi talked about that. Like, he was changing up his content thing,
yep.
and to be like almost, he didn't say it this way, but it almost seems like to be less cute and just more business focused. Like, not go after, like, he's like, oh, when we talked about our relationship, like, we got people who want a relationship advice. Like, that's not what we're trying to do. Like, we're trying to do business stuff here. So he's going to go back to that. And I think that might be like you were talking about. We talked about it before. Like, I don't want to go into a freaking Nike outlet and pretend that I'm buying something and act like a clown and like, oh. And I like some of those people that do those videos, but like you sure the one that I sent you the other day about like the guy walking on the beach. I was like, comments are brutal on this. Like, I would never do that. And like, I hope it's worth, like, in their case, like 600 views. So definitely not worth it.
Yeah, it's exactly that tweet I wrote. It's just like what
Yeah.
happens when it gets saturated. Yeah.
And so
you don't
I'm
have
just
to do
like,
that stuff.
yeah, so I kind of think about just going the other way and just making it like super valuable. And even if like less people watch it, hopefully the right people see it. And then like that translates to like just helping them instead of just trying to like do like these. I don't like that is also interesting too. Like, I do wonder because we never get to see the back end of things. So like we see all these videos of like people, you know, I did one the other day or 2 days ago. They got like 15K views on YouTube, which is like insane for me, and like close to like maybe 12K on Instagram Reels. It was basically like a picture of like a busted locker at the gym, and it was like, oh, when the strongest guy at the gym figures out he's gated in Adidas, and people like loved it, and I was like, wow, like this is crazy, like 12K views, all this kind of stuff. And then like I was like looking at it and I was like, huh, like what does that really do? Like there's like there's room for humor and stuff like that, and like every once in a while, but like those 12K views, like I don't know, like I don't see the metrics on like how many people follow based off of that. I'm sure I could dig down into it, but in the end of the day, like would it have been better to like put in the comments like maybe how to get ungated again in Adidas, like made it more like, so thinking through that I was like, oh, maybe that should be it, or try to think of it more that way, like be funny but then give value in like the comments or the post description. But it's like, I don't know how many people even read that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is like I think a misconception. I didn't know this before. Like, views are not all equal, like you were saying. Like those like entertainment style videos, they get entertainment style viewers. Like, for example, like I didn't watch that, but like I would have watched something that was informative. So, and I'm also a buyer. I just spent 20 grand yesterday. So like, but I'm not going to watch that like entertainment stuff. So you just get entertainment type customers, which just don't buy. And that's like across the board. And this is like for anybody making content. The platform's algorithms spit your content out to people that they think want to see it. So, and then based on how long those people watch it is the more like views it gets. There's like a little example of how these views aren't equal is if I made the most amazing Amazon video of all time and it got sent out to 200 doctors. Okay, well,
Right.
200 doctors aren't going to watch that. So that's not equal to it getting
True.
sent out to 200 Amazon sellers. So that's also why the content goes viral. So like if you the everybody thinks like, well, if it's a good video, it'll go. That's not true, because what if it gets shown to X amount of people that don't think the video is good, even though it, like, objectively it's a great video for the niche you're in. And then it goes even a deeper level. That's like, okay, maybe it's a good video for the niche, but it hits this other demographic of the niche. Like, for example, my bodybuilding page, the whole audience is under 25 years old, and they're like from India and stuff like that. Those aren't buyers. Like, those people aren't going to even pay me any money, much less like $7. So then what I have to get people that are above 30 years old. Those people have the money. Those people pay high ticket, and those are the that's the content I have to do. But that content gets less views. So now that I've got all these views, it's like, well, I don't want to drop my views, but I need to post more informative content, because if I don't, I'm just not going to get any sales. And I know that because I've reached 5 million people and I've not got any sales on the page.
Huh.
So it's like that. That's because the views I'm getting are just terrible. They're all over the world. Like 50% of people in the US, 50% out around the world. All of them are under 25, like 80%. Just a bad audience in general. So when you do those entertaining videos, you just hit a bad audience. Now, those people might be making decent money off the back end. I mean, if you have a system to where, let's say this, for example, this all these views capture people. See, this is the type of content I would make for Reels, by the way. But like you have this content that captures all these viewers, and then you get X amount of followers. So you're like, let's say it's like a 0.1% follow rate. So you get 10,000 views, and like 10 people follow you, or 100 people follow you, whatever it would be. I don't know. But those followers, a certain percentage of those people get through some type of nurturing thing. So they either click the link in your bio, they start watching your stories. Then you can nurture some of those people into becoming buyers. But the percentage is just really low. Where if I just made a super informative, like 10-minute YouTube video on X topic, maybe it gets 150 views, but like half those people could buy it, because they're super. Like, who would even watch that video unless they were super focused on what the problem is?
Yeah, okay, that's a good point that you bring up too. Yeah, because I guess I could see why a lot of people are like, you probably have that audience mainly because of Sam, right? Because that's who like is watching him mainly.
Exactly.
So like, do you think you have to like pick someone else besides Sam?
Yeah, I'm gonna get it up to more followers. Right now I'm like at 20K. I'm gonna get to 100K followers, and then I'll change. Like, and I'll try to change it like slowly. This is my plan as of now. Like, I want to capture all the followers so they're there. So then I can switch the content over, and even if I lose 50% of my followers, I have 50,000 people watching my stuff over and over.
Makes
And
sense.
most of my content, 99.9%, literally comes from not followers. So it doesn't even really matter. But it's crazy when you run one of those things. It's like an amazing. Like, every time I get on my phone, 100 new followers. It says 100, 100, 100. I likes, comments, followers every single time I open it, which is pretty cool to see.
Insane.
Yeah, none of it's converting. Like, none of it's converting, which I'm not doing a great job at, like, trying to get it convert. And my offer doesn't align exactly with the content, but
Yeah,
like,
I can see that.
you know, the point stands. It's just low quality.
That's
Now,
actually a really good point that I didn't think about when you sent me like your landing page and stuff. That like you're driving traffic from that Instagram account.
Yeah.
Which doesn't 100% align, because we all know Sam is not doing what you're selling.
Exactly. So that makes a huge like problem with the thing, but I don't care, because I'm just running the page anyway just to get the followers. Like, it's easy. I have a VA running it, so it's like whatever. I don't care. But another big thing I was going to say, if some advice for whoever's watching this, it's in the Amazon space. If you want to make loads of money selling some type of info thing, if you get on YouTube Live or just make YouTube videos every single day of you just screen sharing on Keep a Product Finder or something like that, you would make a ton of money doing that. Like, I've watched guys do that in other industries. You just get on the live or you get on the YouTube and just like give away a bunch of Keep a Product Finder. For example, you could manually source if you want, but it would give away a lot of information. But you just showed people a bunch of stuff and did it every day. Your viewers would be so focused. Maybe you get 20 viewers a video, but those 20 people are probably going to pay you money. So if you're trying to do some Amazon stuff, like, and you're like, oh, I want to maybe coach, or I want to do something like that, I want to add some extra income, I would do that. Start a YouTube channel, start uploading every single day. Make it simple. 10 minutes, screen record. You don't have to edit it. You don't have to make anything fancy. That's like an easy way to do it, because you're not going to go viral, but you're going to get focused viewers.
I actually might start doing that more.
It's a good idea.
Just because I actually like thought about doing it just more, because a lot of the things that I was like trying to do is more, you sit down and like you talk about like almost theory, but some of the videos that I put in actually the advanced arbitrage tactics school group, I was like, damn, like I could just do this on YouTube. Like the videos are just for the group, and like it's just because like it's a paid group, so I'm like giving that just to them. But it just like got me thinking, because like every day I'm just like, oh, what's something valuable I could put in that group? And a lot of the times it's just like a loom video of like something that I come across, or something that's just like super easy to make that like a lot of people don't know. And I'm like, wow, like I should probably just do something very similar and put it on YouTube, because a lot of what I like do on YouTube is more, yeah, like I said, like theory or like kind of breaking down Amazon fees or something like that. But who knows? It might be even better if it's just like a 5 minute Loom video.
It
Be
would
like,
be.
hey, like be on the lookout for this. Like if you see this or you see that, you might lose money or something like that. And then to be honest, it's a lot easier for me because the video is already on my computer. All I have to do is upload it and, just put like a easy title, maybe not focus on like thumbnails and all that other stuff, and just be like, hey, here's the content. If you found this helpful, great. If you didn't, like, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great way to go about it. I mean, there's a guy in the space right now, like we've talked about him before. Like he's very well known. He's like the most trusted dude in the whole space.
Yeah.
Although it's like, and you know why it is? Because he does all those videos all the time. So people just build up like this insane parasocial relationship with him, and they trust him like crazy.
Yeah.
And like you have no clue who the dude, if he's even like telling the truth or not. But like he just puts so much content out like that it's like you just have no reason but to trust him. So
yeah, exactly. Because who would do that like almost every day just for like shits and giggles?
Yep. Yeah. And it works. Like, especially if you do it long enough. Like it's no brainer that it'll work. You just gotta like take the step to do it. I remember I had that idea we were doing the happy hour with Michaela. I was telling you should just do the garage sale thing or whatever. You could start like a huge group with it. That would have been nuts. Or not the garage sale, couches and stuff like that.
Yeah, flipping couches and doing that stuff. Yeah, I mean that content is like great, and like I still like I always like think about it, but now I just kind of like what I'm doing with kind of the school group and like OA and stuff like that. But if I had to like start this all over, I would definitely start with that. I am like so mad I didn't document that. I actually thought I was like, oh, like I don't want anyone to know about this. Like it's dumb and like all this other stuff. And plus, it was kind of like for me, it was weird. Like I didn't want anyone to know about it.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I don't know. It's just weird. And then I wanted to be like, when people are like, oh, that's kind of weird. It's like, oh yeah, like, well, I've already made like $5,000 doing it in the last 2 months. And they're like, oh wow, like that actually sounds pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I my idea for the YouTube channel was just going to be road to 50K profit a month and just like episode 0. And then I would explain, why is this my goal? Why did I quit Amazon? How much was I making with Amazon? Like I've made 50K in a month with Amazon before, and with like all the things combined I was doing with Amazon multiple times. So I've made like that much money, but like all the lessons I took from that, and then like what I'm doing next, why I'm doing that, and then like start it every day. Just be like, here's like the marketing thing I'm implementing, or like here's something I learned about this. And I know that would help people along the way, because it's like, I mean, you're watching me do it, and I'm not successful yet, but like I know I will be, and I'm paying for all this education, so like I can kind of just translate what I learn a little bit. So I don't know if I'm going to do that yet, but
that would crush. You should, because you almost have to, because well, you don't have to do anything. But like you can't really do it in retrospect. Like you can't start day 20.
No, you're right. You're right.
Because you could be like, oh, let me give you a recap of the last 20 days. It doesn't like hit as like, guys, I just sent someone $20,000. I don't know what's going to happen here, but like we're gonna leave that video here or something like that. And then I mean, I think I sent you someone on Instagram. I was like, oh, do you know this person? And they're basically doing that. They're trying to, I think, launch. I don't know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make like 10 or 20K a month. And I was like, day 1. And it's like, oh, I don't know, signed up for this. Oh, I just started the Instagram page. Oh, like this first point. And he knows how to make like viral videos and stuff like that. So he's basically like showing like, all right, this video to this. All right, we got our first sale. $20, like, but we lost X amount on ads. And then like, I think he's in day like 40 or 50 right now. I like kind of like, I guess Instagram took him out of the algorithm. So I don't see it anymore, but I was like, that's just a really interesting concept because I think like people would watch back as well because they're like, well, what happened on day 10? Or like, where was this person? And then you're just kind of watching like this mini series.
Yeah, it just makes the trust, like I was talking about before, the trust is insane because if you like show yourself at the bottom, like coming up, you know, the biggest, I guess, the only reason I wouldn't do this is the fear of like failure. Because if I got to date, you know, whatever, 45, I'm just like, I have to quit. I've just failed this long, which I don't think it would be like that, but that'd be the only reason not to do it. Because if I could like watch this, people could see, okay, the guy's at 0. We're like watching everything he's doing. He's telling us everything he's doing. And then he gets here. He's like a trusted source. So that was the biggest reason for me doing it. And it just gives me a little bit of like, I already make the videos in the Telegram like every day. So why don't I just like put some stuff on YouTube too, break it down longer. So we'll see.
I honestly don't think like it would hurt you though. Let's just say for argument's sake, you failed. So no, I think there's a couple aspects to this. So like number one, it's like doing it is going to make you want to fail. Like you're going to want to make it work because you're going to like be afraid that like you're going to look dumb. Like that's just how it works. That's kind of why I started the YouTube channel because I was like, ooh, like I don't want to look stupid. Like or like if I do like a challenge or something like that, it'd be like I don't want to look dumb. And then I guess on the second part, if you did fail, like you set yourself up for like this huge like redemption story.
You're right.
Or like everyone feels like bad for you and like freaking like someone like Alan reaches out and he's like, dude, like
yep.
What you've been doing is stupid, but like I respect you like documenting it. Like I'm gonna pull you out of this shit and show you the way.
Yeah, I mean,
which is possible. I'm not saying that would happen, but like I feel like you see that happen all the time. Like, dude, like this guy just doesn't get it. Or like someone reaches out, is like, "Yo, let me help you," or whatever. I feel like you see that happen all the time on Twitter. Like someone's like, "Oh, I got a section 3 or something." Like, "Oh, like do this, do that, or the other thing." Yeah. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah, might start next week. We'll see. Yeah, I was wanting to start this week, but then like some other stuff popped up because I was gonna do another thing too, and then that got a little bit busier. So we'll see. I don't know.
That's one thing that's like really hard that I'm like really struggling right now. It's just like balancing all this stuff. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I've kind of got to the point now where I'm trying to cut things out like completely. Like I had talked about last episode, I think, or the episode before about like not drinking and stuff, and just trying to cut out things that waste my time. And I watched a really good video on this NASA engineer, and he was about the only like productivity video you need. And he was talking about how all these people try to add stuff in to make them more productive or to free up time. Like I'm going to start doing a cold plunge and all this stuff. But it's like what you need to do is start removing things, like start backwards. So like you subtract and then you start adding. And most people just have a subtraction problem. They need to subtract a lot of stuff from their life. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do right now. It's like what's wasting my time? What can I subtract there? And
I like
it's working pretty well. I'm trying to do the to-do list thing. And if it's not on my to-do list and I'm doing something else, it's like, well, I got to crank something else off that list because I'm wasting time. And as of now, it's just freeing up a bunch of time at night. Like I'm done. Like today, it's 2:49 p.m. and I'm like done after this because I've cranked everything out. Now I just have to wait for like one more thing today, and that's it.
So. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think there's like a balance too. Is like kind of how much like almost you have to know like not when to call it a day, but like when you got what you got done, and like that's a win. Because like you said, like all right, like we're gonna finish this podcast. And we'll probably talk for like another hour doing whatever. And then like the day's over. But it's like, well, if you got everything else done, like you're good. But a lot of people don't know like when they're good.
Yeah. Because you don't get enough done during the day because you like spend too much time not doing enough. Yeah, that's like the big problem. But yeah. Oh, what else you got?
Trying to think what else is going on.
Anything big in the world? And what about news? Maybe we can talk about news. We talked about fitness the whole time. The last one. Oh, that's the first time you met Kyle, the last guest, right?
Yeah. That was the first time.
You met him at Miami Sellers Conference one time.
Yeah, I met him like not this year, last year. that was a really good episode. I mean, I would definitely go watch that back. That was the last episode we did, right? Yeah,
Yep.
the last episode. Did you see by any chance the Tom Brady roast?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it.
Dude, I would watch the whole thing. It's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I know a lot of those guys. I watch like Kill Tony and that type of stuff, so they did pretty good. I watch Schultz podcast sometimes. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Tony Hinchcliffe did such a good job at the roast. It was so funny.
I might have to watch that. Yeah, I like watching those little roast things.
Dude, watch it. We actually saw someone we never heard of, and we're like, oh man, like they were hilarious. They were probably the funniest comedian of the night, and they're gonna be in by where we live. We actually got tickets to go see them.
Who was it?
Nikki Glasser.
Oh, Nikki. Yeah, Nikki Glazer. Yeah,
Glazer. Dude, she was the funniest. It was like her, Kill Tony, Kevin Hart was funny, and then there was one other person, but they actually like crushed the night. Like I would highly suggest watching it.
Yeah, I will. I'll watch tonight.
So funny. Like I don't know. It was crazy.
Well, that covers the news for the day.
That covers the news for the day.
We can end this one short. We've been having such long pods. It's like, dude, usually these were like 50 an hour. We've been doing like hour 10, hour 20 and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
We'll cut it here, guys. If you're not in Advanced Arbitrage Tactics, the school community I launched, go join that now. We just had an awesome coaching call yesterday, actually. So the recording is in there. We did a deep dive on the Keepa product finder, how to find stuff quickly. So if you want access to that, there'll be a link below for that. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Peace.
Peace.